These are the 5 root causes of bloating. In my practice, almost everyone has at least 2. I'll show you how to find yours. My name is Daryl. I'm an award-winning clinic owner and holistic nutritionist. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through all 5 causes and how to tell which one is yours and exactly what to do about it. These are the main 5 that I see in my clinic. So let's get to the first cause. Is one of the most missed ones, and it's actually low stomach acid. Most people assume bloating means too much stomach acid. Actually, the opposite. When your stomach acid is low, and this is quite common if you're over the age of 30, 35, 40, progressively as we get older, food sits in your stomach a little bit longer than it should. So then it starts to ferment, and that fermentation produces gas. And that gas is what you feel generally right underneath of the abdomen, usually within 30 to 60 minutes of eating, sometimes a little bit faster. So you might feel usually where it kind of just sits very heavy, whether it's usually like a protein-rich meal, steak. Usually most people can't handle beef as much if it starts to get real bad. But basically, you just have a whole lot of tension, tightness, bloating, pressure, usually right underneath of the actual rib cage, and it's usually sooner than later, right after eating. So some people get heartburn, which sounds like it would be too much stomach acid, but generally it's actually a little too little stomach acid. So you might notice undigested food in your stool. So there's a simple fix that you can try to test this out. So you can get a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and a small amount of water, and then take that about 10 minutes before eating. It's kind of the new shot that you have to do once you kind of hit the age of 30, just to essentially start to feel better. You can also use Betaine HCl with pepsin. So just start with 1 capsule, usually with a protein containing meal, and start to see how you feel. See if the bloating starts to improve. That can be a strong signal that that low stomach acid is an actual was kind of the issue. So how this is going to also feel inside your body if you're going to start to have a stomach issue is you're going to have quite tight traps. That's usually on your left side, but the traps will be on both sides. Could happen with some left-sided neck pain, could be left shoulder as well. Or if you get more of your injuries on your left side, if you've ever woken up where you kind of slept old, slept funny, or you kind of blame the pillow, where you have a hard time turning your head to the left, not turning your head to the right, but turning your head to the left, could indicate more of an actual stomach issue. Could be low stomach, could be high stomach acid, who knows? But generally, most people, I think, have low stomach acid versus the high stomach acid. So I find this one quite effective to address because it's pretty straightforward, very easy to use. I like Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Costco has a nice one as well. So the second cause is bacterial overgrowth, specifically in the small intestine. So this is what is called generally SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Normally, most of your gut bacteria should live in your large intestine, but when the bacteria migrate upstream into the small intestine, they get first access to food before the absorption of nutrients. They start to ferment into there, which obviously results into bloating. That's often lower down into the abdomen. So you'll see most of the bloating underneath of the actual belly button. Generally, you're worse by the end of the day. Kind of the hallmark sign is if you actually start to eat healthier, you kind of feel like shit more. So you get quite a bit more bloating, gas. So it could be salads, vegetables, high fiber foods. Generally, these trigger symptoms. SIBO could be something to consider because the very thing that's supposed to be good for you is feeding the not the bad bacteria, but feeding the bacteria in the wrong place. So the approach here has 2 different parts. So the first part would be reducing overgrowth. So you can use herbal antimicrobials like oregano oil, berberine, allicin can be quite beneficial. Generally, you don't really just want to shoot from the hip for those. You probably want to work with someone that's got a better idea of what it is. The second one is to support motility, and you want to make sure that things are actually moving through so that the bacteria can't stagnate and just kind of hang out there. So ginger is very good, artichoke extract, and even walking after meals helps. You'd be surprised how well you can just feel just by going for a walk after dinner, after lunch. So Just have a quick 10-minute walk, whether it's on your lunch break or after dinner with the family. This, like I said, this is kind of where you want to use more of a practitioner, because it can be quite tricky and it depends on the type of SIBO. So SIBO, you got a big category and then you have subgroups underneath of it. So you have the hydrogen dominant, methane dominant, and the hydrogen sulfide. I just happen to be hydrogen sulfide and methane dominant kind of at once when I did a big stool analysis on myself. So the number 3 is poor bile flow, and this one gets constantly missed. Your liver produces bile, your gallbladder stores it. It's a little change purse essentially for the bile. So when you eat fat, bile is released and it's broken down. So if bile flow is sluggish, which happens if you have a congested liver, gallbladder issues, or just like on a long-term fat diet, you can't properly digest fat. So undigested fats sit in your digestive tract, cause bloating, nausea, often a dull pain underneath of your right rib cage. You might notice floating stools. Occasionally, doesn't have to be all the time. The stools are pale. They could be clay colored. So what you can do is you can start to kind of stimulate that yourself. So bitter foods is kind of the best one for this. So before meals, you can start to eat arugula, dandelion greens, digestive bitters, which is a little bit of a supplement that you can take prior to help kind of get the things essentially like, hey, we're about to have some fat. Let's start to do our thing. So taurine and glycine support the bile function. So if you've been eating low fat for a long time, you want to gradually introduce healthy fats. So like olive oil, avocados, fatty fish can help kind of retrain your gallbladder properly. I've had clients address the bile flow. So that's kind of one of the single most things that they can do, resolve the years of bloating. So if you have, how this is going to look inside the body is, so the gallbladder, you might have some pain, tension, tightness underneath of the right rib cage. You can have like a pinching tightness on the right side of the ribs. If you're kind of bending and moving, generally that's not all the time. It's just kind of like if you do weird movements. You can have a knot on the backside of your right shoulder blade. That's kind of always there. You might have a little bit of tingling. You can have right-sided. So most people, they'll have left-sided neck pain, where it's actually painful for you. But if you go in for a treatment, they'll actually say that your right side is tighter, even though you're feeling it on the pain on the left side. So this is kind of where you can use different massage therapy techniques. You can use what's called visceral manipulation. Massage therapists do it. Physios can do it. Osteopaths can do it as well. So it's probably one of the most underused tools for addressing bloating. So your gut and musculoskeletal system are connected through something called a viscerosomatic referral. So when an organ is irritated or inflamed, it can refer pain and tension to specific areas of your body. And that actual tension can feed the bacteria and restrict the motility, which starts to kind of get you into a vicious cycle. So if you've ever seen somebody for a chronic thing that you've got going on, generally most people have chronic pain into the neck, could be top of the shoulders, could be lower back. That persistent tightness, generally for the gallbladder, like I was saying, is right between mid-back, between your shoulder blades. Could be a little bit underneath of there. That tension may be physically restricting the natural movement of your digestive tract. So your gut needs to move. It's called peristalsis, and to push the food through. Restriction slows that down. So a few simple things that you can do is you can do diaphragmatic breathing. Just take a few, like 5 minutes, just do some deep belly breathing. In the morning, you can do it before foods. You can do it right before bed as well. You can also give yourself a gentle self-abdomen massage. So what you're going to do is you're just going to work in a clockwise direction. So you're going to start from the right side of your hip up towards the right rib, across the body, to the left rib, down to the left hip, just above it, pretty much where the pant line is, and just do a circular motion up into there. So you can also see a manual therapist that understands the visceral work. Generally, you're looking for a structural release, because there's ways that you could just working with the physiological rhythm of the actual organ itself. That one gets a little bit kind of tricky, but structural release is kind of the biggest thing that you can do. So I've had random shoulder pain on my right side. I've had gallbladder issues as well. It's kind of what I'm working on now. Most of my issues were right side. You get some tingling, some tension, some tightness. Generally, this area just got quite tight for me. So working on the actual adhesions down below really helps out with that, along with doing the internal stuff that I've said so far. So the fifth cause ties everything together, and we all generally know what it is. It's stress. So when we're in a fight or flight, which is most people today with just kind of how the world is going, your body deprioritizes digestion. Blood flow shifts away from your gut. You're going to get a drop in enzyme production. The motility is going to slow down. You're going to be in a state where your body can't digest properly. And then you have a meal on top of that because you should probably eat because you haven't eaten for a while. The vagus nerve is the main communicator, which is like a highway between your brain and your gut. And then when vagal tone, the connection there is low and chronic stress dampens it, your gut is going to suffer. Fortunately, there's no supplement for that. You're just going to have to essentially activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So you're going to need to essentially kind of like chill out. So you can put your phone away, you can hang out with friends, you can watch a funny movie, you can throw on some cat videos onto there on YouTube, whatever you need to do where you can just kind of chill out. But very simple things you can do is you can just take 3 slow breaths before your first bite. You can chew your food. You're probably looking around 20 to 30 chews per bite or per piece, which kind of sounds excessive, but it has a measurable difference in how much gas is produced downstream. Other things that you can do is cold exposure. So even just finishing your shower with 30 seconds of cold has been shown to improve vagal tone. You can use humming, you can use gargling. It sounds a little bit unusual, but there's some research behind it. So you can eat the cleanest diet in the world. If you're still eating stressed, you're still probably going to be bloated. So those are the 5 main causes that I see with most of my clients in the clinic. So that's low stomach acid, bacterial overgrowth, poor bile flow, viscerosomatic restriction, and chronic stress. So in my experience, most people with chronic bloating have at least 2 or 3 of these happening in the same time, which is why cutting out food rarely solves the issue. It really just makes it worse long term because you're not going to have the biodiversity inside of your gut, which gives you the whole health problems down the road. So if you want, I've put together a evidence-based gut health guide. It's free. It gives you a kind of a step-by-step. This is what I use for most of my clients. I've also created essentially a little quiz to tell you where the inflammation is inside your body. So that issue, say with your gallbladder, could actually be creating a lot of the issues inside your body that you feel from like essentially you just kind of feel quite old onto there. So if you just put into the comments down, and then I'll send you the link if you want. It's free for the gut health program. It's free to do the quiz. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments which one of these sounds most like you. Thank you.